How's everybody doing today? So, when it comes to manifestation or your spiritual journey, just in general, you really have to go back and reflect on your entire life from day one till now. See what happened, see what emotions you had in certain situations. How did you feel with those emotions? And I know emotions and feeling are kind of the same thing, right? But were you happy? Were you sad? Were you depressed? When this event occurred, were you more depressed? Were you more excited? Were you let down? When did you have optimism? When did you have positivity? When did you have negativity? These are all things that you'll have to go back and kind of cycle in your brain. Now, I know, and I can't do it either, but I know not all of us can remember every event in our lives, right? But you can remember some of the significant ones, and you can remember what times were good and what times were bad. Now, when they're bad, obviously you're having a bad emotion. What occurred? How did you feel after that? What were you thinking? Did that trauma change you? Or did a happy experience change you? You really have to go back and write your kind of think about your biography of your life, so to speak, because those certain situations and scenarios that occurred in your life are indicators of where you're at today. Now, it can kind of be daunting, and I'm not saying you have to do this in one day. When I've contemplated this, I've done it in months at a time. So don't sit there and say, oh, I'm going to meditate and think about every moment of my life. It's like, well, you're probably not going to remember every single event in a 2-hour period, like a frame flash, like in a movie or something. If it does if that does happen to you, you're probably having a spiritual awakening at that moment, and that could happen. But I'm saying in general, for most of us, it could be like a month or a couple months of contemplation, and take notes and write down maybe what you've experienced and what traumas and stuff have occurred to make you think you are the way you're thinking now, and go back and know and realize that we're living in a simulation. So you are brainwashed and programmed at a young age to think a certain way, and now you got to do the comparison. Say, I now know that this is a simulation. I'm an infinite spiritual being having a temporary human experience. Where was the brainwashing before that made my conscious mind think where I am at today? And when you start doing the two comparisons, like over here you say, oh, this is the simulation, this is what I was taught. This is the simulation, this is what I was taught. Now you can do the correlation and the cross-hatching of how that all came to play and who you became to be till this day. Now, I know this is I'm asking you to do a big project here, and you don't have to do it today. You may not have to do it tomorrow, but if you're struggling on your spiritual journey, it might behoove you to go back and reflect on this. Because when you actively know that you're in the simulation, that's when your parallel reality shifts. When you actively know that you're in a simulation and your parallel reality shifts, while reflecting back where your traumas were created or their brainwashing, now you're changing the past, because your current mind now clears the data of that installation programming in you, and the manifestation and stuff can now happen because just by doing that, you broke down some of those barriers that prevented you from understanding that you're a co-creator of this universe. But being mindful that when you start reflecting back, those emotions are going to start dredging up again. So that's why we'll have to, let go of the past trauma. Let go of some of those negative emotions that were dredged up from this. Now, if you had a lot of memories that were positive, you can hold on to those. Um, but because you're not negatively being affected by it. So if it's something that keeps you in a higher vibration, by all means keep it. I'm not saying forget everything that happened before. There's wonderful things that we all go through, even if we had a lot of bad times. If you're on a spiritual journey, a lot of times you went through some stuff that most people didn't, because and I hate certain terms like star seeds, and I don't hate them. It's just like the star seeds or like the chosen ones, and that terminology doesn't quite make sense to me currently, because we're all on a spiritual journey. Even if you're not in this lifetime right now to understand, you'll learn it in the next one. But since we're having this, this age of Aquarius, there's a lot of people going on a spiritual awakening. So we're all waking up really fast. It's just that time, and it might not be happening in this lifetime now. Now, if it's not happening in this lifetime for you, you're probably actually not even watching my videos. You're not even aware of like metaphysics or even any type of like. When I say solid religion, I'm talking about a religion where you have like an extremely strong belief in good morals and ethics. And people say that they're in religions, but they'll still have bad morals and ethics, or they're like the ultimate hypocrites. That's not what I'm talking about. Just because you're not studying metaphysics doesn't mean you're not on a spiritual journey. You could be in Christianity and be on your spiritual journey. It's just like your morals and ethics inside, knowing that you're connected with the universe and God, that is spirituality. So you don't have to put a title on it. Metaphysics is just a title. It doesn't mean anything. It just means the study of spirituality, or the application of it. Religion's just a name of a type of belief system. But when we're all co-creators of this universe, we're all in the same religion. We're co-creators of the universe. That's essentially what the religion is. So because we get wrapped up in terms of religion. Religion itself is a term that puts you in a box into a certain thing or a sect, and it's not what it's supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be just an instruction on becoming spiritual, like reading a book. I mean, that's why a lot of religions have books. You're just following some doctrine in order to understand your beliefs. That's why I don't get wrapped up in terminology, as you shouldn't either. You'll come up with your own terms and like the way to say things. Like when I talk to you through the camera, you might be a person that's not receptive in the way I transmute this information. But if someone else said it, the exact same stuff that I'm saying it, but said it in a different way for you to be more receptive in it, that information is still there. You're just like, you're able to get it because you understand the terms, and we're all receptive to certain types of terminology. So, and I'm bringing this up because if you like somebody or you don't like somebody, you can still receive information from them. Not saying just like somebody or like you don't like the way they're saying it. I don't believe at this point in my life that I'm a very good public speaker. I'm talking to you on video, but the way I communicate, and people have told me this before, is it almost sounds cold because it's just direct information, and I'm not leading up with a story or putting you into a perspective where you like you're enticed to hearing it. And some of you are good speakers out there where you like people want to listen to you. I'm not saying that as an excuse or anything. I'm just telling you what I've learned about myself. I'm working on it. I always try to work on my communication, and I believe if you work on your communication as well, it can help you with your spiritual journey, because when you're communicating with others about this stuff, you're you're raising your vibration and making connections with people. Now I'm not going to go too much into that portion of it, but that's kind of what I wanted to get you across to you guys today. If you haven't watched my 3D to 5D manifestation video, please go back and watch that. I think it's the video before this one. I really liked it because it touched on something, on a perspective that I think most of us are not used to in manifestation. I knew it before, but I never really talked about it much. But I think for some of you, you would really enjoy what I have to say in that one, because if you weren't understanding it before, that specific way I described it might put your imagination to work. And that's why I kind of like, it's kind of one of my favorite manifestation videos that I've done so far, because of that, because it hit an angle about imagination that there's not much talked about in metaphysics, I don't think, or at least I didn't talk about it much before. I mean, some of my previous early videos I talked about imagination, but when you're a co-creator of the universe, you're using your imagination to create the stuff around you, and that's what I go into on that video. So go back and please watch. If you're watching this video, please go back and watch that one. I'm not saying watch all my manifestation videos of late, but that one specifically, I kind of like it a lot. So if you like it, give it a thumbs up, because I really felt a real pull with that video specifically on the use of imagination. So other than that, as always, I greatly appreciate you guys watching my videos, and have a nice day.